crazy water dog. He loves his adventures. Oh, another dog. He's after my heart, I know it. That sound is so amazing. Oh, so pretty. Hi guys, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Mars going direct in Scorpio today. At the same time, you know, like when the energy actually shifts, the time that it does, we have a grand Earth trine, really inspired by some water energy once again. I wonder if you guys remember, but it wasn't that long ago that we were experiencing this exact trine. And it was in Earth energy, and it was being really uplifted by the Neptunian energy. Neptune right now is in retrograde, and we have this push for Mars to go direct and come out of its retrograde cycle. It's sleepy slumber. Like, you know, you're kind of in this energy as of today anyway, not throughout the whole transit, but you're kind of waking up from a long state of emotional dormancy, I think, in this energy. This energy is a very, it can be a very confusing energy. I'm going to tell you why. Because there's an emotional aspect to this energy. There's the past and the future that's being considered at the same time. We've got Chiron in retrograde really revisiting and revealing some of our deepest wounds. And then we have Uranus in here really honestly causing some chaos in the situation. So what Uranus is doing is it's having this square with Pluto right now. Now remember that Chiron is in between right now Saturn and Uranus. Like it orbits between the two. And Uranian energy is really asking us to make some pretty big changes having to do with our comfort zones, our authentic self, our authentic voice. Mars and Scorpio energy can make this a very intense time for you. Now, intense in a good way or intense in a bad way. It can make you super passionate. It can make you very determined. It can make you very, very intuitive emotionally to situations in a really positive way. It can reveal a lot to you because you are emotionally in tune with kind of a higher vibration in this energy. I think that it is where you feel very, very sensual. It can awaken your stamina, and so people will feel a little bit more naughty and sexual, and it's really playing off emotional intimacy. I think emotional intimacy is going to be very intense right now for some of you caught in a high vibration or trying to deal with issues that regarding attraction or what you deeply want, or that connection, that soul connection based on a sexual connection. I think that is really honestly going to brew up in this energy. You know, what you're passionate about, what you're vulnerable in, what you're ambitious about, you know, what you intend to change, what you intend to regenerate, and what you intend on, you know, the cycles that you tend on moving forward is all what is in the highest form of this Mars and Scorpio energy. Mars and Scorpio energy is somewhat passive aggressive. Now, because we have a Uranian aspect to this, and because Uranus is having this square off with Pluto, I think it makes the energy somewhat contentious for some that are really trying to have a strong, firm, solid foundation. It can be somewhat intense because, see, what we're not always aware of is exactly the way that we feel about situations. It's like we have a desire to make a commitment, but at the same time right now we have a desire to free up our voice and to free up our choices, and we're caught in mutable energy, and then there's the black and the white and the yin and the yang. But then we have like the sun that's really needing some nurturing and some loving, because we're having some, you know, we're having some very revealing thought processes about what we've been through. I think in everything about this energy is going to make you want to feel like, you know, doing something predictable and safe, especially when you have, at the time of this really big energy shift, we have this magnificent Earth trine that's really being accentuated by the moon. And, you know, this Earth trine continues till tomorrow, but the oomph, the water energy, the emotional content of this energy is really important. It's being pushed today by an emotional momentum. So I feel deeply that for many of you, what this is about is moving away from situations where maybe you guys hurt each other, or maybe they're together. The combination is like fire with dry wood or dry grass. You know, like you understand that these people are, you love them and they're, you know, deep, intense connections, but there's this realization that together, for some people when they get together, they just ignite each other. It's not like, it's a karmic lesson, but it's not a karmic union or a cosmic match for you. I think what's intense about this energy is we feel like we've been dormant, and we feel like we need to go out and take control of situations. And many of us have been hashing plans and have been very contemplative, kind of on the DL. And many of us have had a lot going on in our minds, but we didn't have I think because so many planets were in retrograde and our endurance wasn't up to snuff. I believe that the energy is building for us to just do it. It's like the rocket right before it launches. Like the energy is building and building in the engines, and then all of a sudden there's going to be a big takeoff or a launch point for many of you. So what I think is extremely important is that, you know, anytime you get into Scorpio energy, there's an ending, or something, a cycle ends, and we're caught in, right now it's a big cycle ending time for us. It's a big there's a lot of closure going on. There's a lot of completion and certain life cycles going on for many of us. And what I think is really important to understand right now is that we need a point of completion. So many of us have been having kind of unusual conversations. A lot of tough things have been revealed, I think, definitely over the last 2 weeks. What I think is difficult about this is that we have to accept that there are some things we can't change about the past. And I think that what was revealed for many of us were very painful, because it was a very vulnerable time. I mean, some of our past was just our low point. You know, it was just our rock bottom. And now we're building up, and it's not about being the rock bottom anymore. It's about creating something new for us. So to me, there's a strong feeling of rebirth in this energy. If many of you are interested in solidifying your foundations and creating some consistency, I keep noticing the trend in June. As we had all this really weird, you know, bipolar energy, at the same time, everything was asking us to consider what's inconsistent in our life, what are the ramifications of living that sort of inconsistent lifestyle. And then, you know, the bottom line for many of us was what we realized that there were some things that we needed to change, and there were some things that we needed to change about ourselves, which I think is, you know, at the forefront of our minds. So I think that for many of us, so if we can figure out what we're deeply and emotionally passionate about, or who we are and why we are, I think some of the things that we start to do is align what we value most, which is, of course, this big emotional connection right now, this emotional desire for there to be some intimate fulfillment. I think what we're really deeply desiring is just like the passion to come back into our lives after a very stifling and very revealing and very disempowering time. I think what we're really looking for is to put the zest back in our lives and to really add some spice and excitement. And, and for some of us, what needed to be revealed is we need to stop looking back at the past. And we can't look at the have-nots and, what's empty in our lives and what we can't fulfill. And what we really need to do is start looking at things in that really half-full status. Like, even if we were to start over from right now, and even if many of us took a loss in this energy, if many of us were under some sort of delusion that we, didn't mean to create, but we actually were responsible for creating in our own lives, then I think what really comes forth from that is just this desire to move toward pleasure. Because I really believe that that's what this Mars is all about, is moving toward a pleasurable outcome, winning, super competitive energy, but on the DL. Like, you're very calculating in this energy. This is all very positive stuff. Now, negative vibration is if some of you have been pissed and you have been brewing and you have been festering, this energy can make you want to retaliate. This energy could make you have a power struggle between some sort of structure and the need to individuate yourself and the need to have a voice and the need to be heard. This energy is all about being heard, and this is a lot that has to do with that emotional intensity that's been brewing from deep within. So there's a lot of emotional momentum that I feel about this. Now, I think it would be a really low vibration, and I'm talking the absolute lowest, for us not to understand that we have to elevate our minds and be rational in energy. But what's really hard is we're doing it at a state of a lot of emotional transformation. See, things come up emotionally now for me, but I've had my awakening process. And I really honestly always look at it from like the Sagittarian, and Saturn type mindset. It's like, well, what does this mean? What was the karmic lesson I needed to learn? Very disappointing energy, but what's the overall picture? What did I learn? I need to know what I learned. I need to learn in this energy. Your mind is a super powerful weapon. It's very destructive, and it can be very constructive for you. So you have to be able to embrace the fact that you need to have control over this energy, especially this type of intense energy, because this energy can make you very jealous and possessive and destructive and self-indulgent and stubborn and secretive and feisty and, furious and overreactive and hyperreactive to things. So I really want you to understand that you need to restrain yourself from having these emotional episodes, because I just think it really lowers your vibration. With the energy, we have a mutable T-square with Saturn. And so for some of you, the reality check is just how deeply this has intensified either my hate or my passion or my desire to move away from pain and my desire to move toward pleasure. Like, a lot can intensify and brew in this energy. We've got the Saturn square with Neptune, and it's squaring off with Jupiter. What I think is really important for you to understand is what can be expanded in energy like this when you're going to go direct, when the planet of passion is in this very emotionally charged energy, is it really can make things get out of control. And there are a couple signs that I'll talk about that with their energy, but for the most part, I think it's a lovely transit. Lots of positive energy, lots of good vibrations to feed off of, lots of perseverance and endurance, and lots of possibility to be deeply, deeply, intimately connected beyond your wildest dreams. For some of you that have had a lot of emotions brewing, but you have been unable to talk about them because you were trying to decipher if that's what you deeply felt, this energy is going to connect you, and it's going to be the most emotional connection you've had in a very long time with this moment. So it's a beautiful energy for some of you, and a very crazy ass, I'm going to just nuke my life type of energy. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again about how this is going to affect your sun, your moon, and your rising. Oh, and you might want to check out your Mars sign. Hi, Aries, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Mars going direct in Scorpio, which is your ruler. So this energy, once it totally ramps up to its full power, is going to leave you feeling kind of authentic. There's a lot of energy that is brewing. Now, what I want you to do is be mindful of what has been intensifying in your life, what type of emotional issues have come up. And what have you been thinking about? Where has your mind been going? How has it been interpreting all this energy? Now, this has the ability to be a very easy transit for you, there's a lot of change, but I think that you're on board with it. You're willing to, change some of your family situations and add some ease to the situation. You're willing to work through this stuff so that you can make a better life for yourself. You're willing to be vulnerable and acknowledge that there's some deficiency and some vulnerabilities in your life, but that you're willing to work on them. You're being very, very real with yourself in this energy. If you're talking in the deepest, darkest part of you, the conversation that you have with yourself, I think what you're deeply identifying in yourself is that there are weaknesses. There are things that need to change. And there's a lot of healing going on for some of you. For some of you caught in a very low vibration, this is deeply intense time for you. The change, you may be resisting some of the change that's starting to brew. There's a need to fight some of the changes for some of you. There's a need to manipulate and to passively, aggressively kind of sneak around and try to figure things out on the DL. Like you're you're not very forthright about what you're going through because you're manipulating the situation. It does depend. Now, I want you to understand that when Mars goes direct, we do have a lovely kite. We have, a beautiful trine, and at the base of it, we have, Neptune just lifting you up toward some brand new energy. Remember, Neptune and Pisces in retrograde, so it's very retrospective, and it wants you to change outcomes. It wants you to be very realistic about your past right now because it's being squared off with Saturn. And so there's a conversation that's happening with yourself. It's revealing. It could leave you feeling very vulnerable, naked in the truth. I want to say, I keep hearing that. And the reason why I say that is because, this is going to test your will, your strength, and your endurance to make some big changes and to move towards something better, a better outcome. And what you really have to do is be very humble in this energy and not let this big quincunx with Uranus really change the intensity of this, because you can be very jealous, obsessive, destructive, self-indulgent, secretive. You can be very competitive. You could be fierce. You could be overpowering in this energy emotionally. If this is something that you feel is threatening you on a personal level, on a self level, you don't have the voice, you don't have the control, you don't have the ability to break free from some of the situations that are intensifying your emotions. Be mindful of where your energy is at. You can make changes in a positive or a negative way. Remember that inevitably we choose our vibration. We are influenced by energy, but we choose our vibration, and I want you to be very, very mindful of that. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi there, Taurus. This is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Mars in Scorpio going direct for you. Now, this has to do everything with your relationships, your bonds, your closest unions. For you, this is probably going to amp the sexual intensity, the sexual appetite. There's going to be a lot of stamina in this energy. This is going to be a deeply emotional and intense energy for you. This is not just connecting on a sexual level, but connecting with say you're you're having a relationship, or you're trying to intensify a relationship and create that bond that makes you guys inseparable. This energy, the connection that you express to each other when you are physically intimate, is going to deeply intensify for some of you in this energy. Your ruler is conjunct with the sun, so there is a lot of emphasis on feeling safe, feeling like there's a commitment, this is a sure thing, there's a comfort zone to this. You are deeply desiring to be emotionally impacted by this energy. You want to pour your heart out in this energy. You want to feel safe and loved in this energy. You want to nurture. But more importantly, when it comes to the bedroom, for some of you in relationships, this is going to be like when you connect, it's going to be just like almost like a mental connection, even though you're physically engaged. For some of you not in relationships, this has a lot to do with making bonds with people that can generate a lot of money, that can generate, if you're making plans and you're trying to formulate a way to get what you want, and you need some shared resources to do it, this energy has some amazing energy that's attached to it for forming really powerful relationships and partnerships and bonds. There is an ease for you, which thank goodness for the immutable T-square that we're having. You know, also we have Neptune at the base of this grand Earth trine that we're having today and tomorrow. And this grand Earth trine is really being pushed by some really hopeful mindsets. I think there's a lot of magic in the air for some of you. A lot of, you know, there's an ease and energy. There's just, I feel like I'm connecting on a different level. For some of you, it could be that you're connecting on a deeper level with your intuition and with your gut instinct. I mean, for some of you, this is about aligning yourself with what you hope, you dream for. This is connecting you with the right social networks that can get some of those dreams, get some of that energy stirring, especially since you're a little idealistic. And there's always something festering behind, you know, this entire thing. I think that there's a strong desire for like I keep feeling like there's a lot of commitment in this energy for some of you. When Mars goes direct, I mean, it could be that you just become so emotionally overwhelmed that there's a strong commitment to whatever this energy is bringing from deep within you. I think you need to keep your eye on the ball and open yourself up for the big picture in this energy. Don't push things too hard. You can do that when Mars goes into Scorpio, especially if you feel like, you know, you could lose something or the intensity makes you fearful because of all of this emotional intensity that's going on. Like for some of you, it could just feel like, oh my God, I feel everything for this person. I need to possess them type energy. I just want you to be super mindful of that because that is possible. Remember that, you know, your ruler conjunct with the sun could be squaring off in this energy for some of you caught in the lower vibrations. So some of you are feeling very intense, very vulnerable. Communication is making you scared. There's a lot that you want to say that for some of you, I think that you feel like you need to talk. But what the conversation that's going on in your mind is much more deeper on it, and it's so intense for you. But I think that you're scared a little bit to reveal in this energy. I think because we have Chiron in retrograde, what I feel is that for some of you, you have all of these deep feelings. And there's such this deep emotional connection, but there's a lot of fear that's associated with revealing too much, especially when you have all this Scorpio energy. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi, dear Geminis. This is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Mars going direct in Scorpio. For you, it's going to have a lot to do with what's twirling in your mind. What have you been thinking about? What's been intensifying in there? For some of you, this has been a very scary time. What's been brewing is realizations, and the realizations that there is a lack of clarity sometimes in what you align with, and the consequences that has been part of the problem. You know, it's like every time you try to commit to something, it seemed like there was just something that kept you, you know, you weren't able to make that firm decision. It gets even harder in energy like this when we have, you know, a mutable T square, and your ruler has been having all of these intense conversations, all of these yaws. It has been having a lot of clarity, but it seems like as soon as you get clear, there's another level of confusion that you have to decipher. I think what I would do in this energy is, you know, if it were me, I'd really just attach to the fact Mercury in Gemini is going to be conjunct with the Sun in Cancer right now. These are kind of weird energies together. You know, Gemini energy is very fun-loving, free, lots of talking, you know, all about me. But Cancer energy is all about everybody else. It's a very nurturing and loving energy. So I think a lot of energy is really asking you to pour yourself into not so much of this intellectual stimulus, but to, like, there needs to be a connection for you for some reason in this energy. And when you got this Mars goes direct in Scorpio energy, I think what really starts to brew, and I think that it's deeply has a lot to do with some of the changes that you need to make. I think you feel compelled. The thing is it's destined. You identify with the hope now. You identify with liberating yourself from some mindsets that no longer serve you. You identify that the part of the habitual thinking has not been good for you. And the duality of this habitual thinking, the ping pong back and forth in your mind has been very draining for you. I think what you deeply identify is that you can attach hope and you can get out of this energy. And I believe that's super possible. But what this is going to do when you start getting into this type of energy is there is going to be a change. And when this change happens, it means you really got to start being, you have to follow through. So you definitely are becoming aware that there's a change that's necessary. And you definitely have an idea now of where this change needs to be made. And you definitely know now that it has a lot to do with your habitual thinking, the way that you go through your life, you know, on a regular basis. I think it's the way that you interact with people, the way that you communicate with people, the way that you identify these communication requirements. But what I think is more important in this energy is it's changing your path. And that can be a little disturbing, especially when you have logically and rationally chose one path. And then all this energy is stirring up a lot there's a lot of energy in your mind. And it's been confusing you. Your mind has been playing tricks on you in this energy. And I think what it's done is at times made you kind of really overindulgent and stubborn and, you know, just really secretive about what you're going through. This energy, when Mars goes direct, is very revealing. Now, you still have this sort of passive-aggressive approach to all of these changes, but I think you have thought a lot of these through, and this is the energy where I think you just desire to put the passion back into your life. And you need to start moving away from things that hurt you or the things that don't make you feel good and go toward that half-full type of a vibe that I feel deeply like some of you are being compelled to go toward. More importantly, it's really pushing you to get out of your head and away from past habitual thinking. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi dear Cancers, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Mars going direct in Scorpio. Now today, I think that there is a really cool energy. I think for you, it says a lot. I think your intuition is going to play a big role in this. I think that stabilizing outcome, stabilizing, have a firm foundation for you to stand on is really ordained for you to be thinking about. You need to be thinking about your routines, the consistency, the types of communication being understood, maybe different ways of approaching the same subject. I think that partnerships, unions, and bonds, I think you're really interested in solidifying and in creating some ease there for you to feel really good about your situation. This is a very sensitive energy, and you're very sensitive to the emotional content that's being revealed to you. There is a need in this energy, I think, for you to stabilize everything. And it's so beautiful for you because you are what you deeply desire, your authentic voice that's in you. You identify what you want in this energy, what you need, what you value, what you are emotionally compelled to seek out in this energy. It's deeply intensifying in this energy, and what it is passion. It's passion in your heart. It's passion in your relationships. It's passion in your routines, your communication, your work. You really want to ramp up the level of the quality level in your life. And I think that this transit today starts out with such a glorious, harmonious flow of energy, filled with really hopeful mindsets. If you take a look at the big picture, what you can't do is take a look at this little immediate environment, that Gemini energy. I want you to take a look at the full process. What's been revealed? What has been manifested for you? What makes you feel amazing in this energy? Because I'm telling you right now, you have the ability to sail pretty high in vibration if you really want to attach to positive energy, because this is a glorious transit for you. I would encourage you to be, really mindful of attaching to really positive energy. But I think for the most part, this is a very, very elevated time for you, filled with lots of passion, lots of hope, lots of intensity. You're cardinal. You're ready to kick a little butt, and there's a lot of emotional momentum to stabilize some of the things that you've been wanting to move forward with, but there hasn't been that energy there that allows this forward movement. Mars going direct will allow that. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi, dear Leos. This is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Mars going direct in Scorpio. Now, I just want to give you a heads up because I happen to know the relationship between Leo and Scorpio energy, and it's intense. Lots and lots of passion get fired up in this energy for you, and you are already really in tune with passion. So this energy really levels up the content, the thing that really gets you going. This is all about, making you have the courage, and you're pretty fearless in this energy. Look, you've got the Sun in Cancer right now. You've got Venus in Cancer. You've got Mercury in Cancer. In Gemini, all conjunct. You have your ruler is sextiling the moon in Taurus, which is in this glorious Earth trine today and tomorrow. So the time of the energy boost, there's a lot of energy pushing you to create some powerful routines, rituals that kind of get you ahead. Or to get you at least recognized, or to get you appreciated by the proper people that you have been trying to get attention from. I think that there is a tremendous push for you to define your career, life path, destiny. I think you deeply value that emotionally. This is attaching you. This is all about, for you, the fire, the desire, the need for you in this energy is to be cardinal, is to make some changes. Look, for some of you, this could mean that you move. For some of you, this could mean that you spruce things up, you get things done. You may not have had all of the energy to do. For some of you, this is, you've been thinking about sprucing up your house, or buying a home or whatever. So there's a lot of energy, And it doesn't just have to do with that. It can have to do with some of the habitual ways that you were raised. And I just feel like you're deeply separating from that past programming. And this is really forward energy. And it's deeply brewing up some of the most positive energy I've seen as far as in making positive changes, types of regenerative energy. There's lots of empowerment possible in this energy as we have such a just glorious energy and all this earth energy. So get your butt out in nature, soak up some sun. Listen, like, you need to attach to this vibe because the vibe's fab. You have to understand that water energy is really pushing this earth energy through the roof, which may be why I have been so inclined to go near not only earth's energy on location, but I've been really needing that sun soaking up sessions as well. I believe that for some of you, what really gets hot in this energy is just lust, passion, magnetism, attraction. Like and if you do desire to ramp up the level of the intensity of a really close bond or a union, and you really have been in your mind about, getting to know this person and kind of finding the courage to tell them how you feel about them, this energy definitely takes it to the next level. And I do want you to understand the only negative energy that that I can really attach to in this is just don't avoid matters of the heart. This energy is pushing you you need to have that connection. This is about moving away from things that really just aren't feeling good. And this is all about moving toward pleasure for you. And this is about taking those calculated risks. You've thought this through. I bet you by now, when this energy goes into Mars, I think there's a plan. I think that there was always something formulated for you to do this, to move forward with. And this is a really good time. This is about stabilizing and compromising. Lots of talk about ramping up the intensity and maybe moving in together. Like for some of you that are really into like a really good bond. Earth energy makes you want to settle down. It makes you want to create some good goals. It makes you want to really secure your foundation. And for some of you, that is going to be an absolute calling in this energy. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi, dear Virgos. This is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Mars going direct in Scorpio. Now, your ruler is conjunct with the sun in Cancer, and it is having a gorgeous conversation with Uranus right now. Uranus energy is feisty right now in this energy, so changes are necessary, big changes, lots of fast, interactions in your mind, lots of duality in there, and lots of creative thoughts brewing in here. There's a lot of energy that's making you kind of cardinal, making you kind of feel like you need to make those changes that you've been deeply desiring, especially if they have anything to do with some sort of passionate part of it. I think that Chiron, is really festering up some old past wounds regarding relationships, bonds and unions. But I think it creates some very, very intense conversations, and maybe it's a revealing process for you. Maybe what happens in this energy is that you trust somebody enough to reveal either the way that you feel, or the way that you want things to go, or the feelings that you have regarding your hopes and dreams for this particular situation. But whatever it creates, there's enough tension to be very revealing in this energy. And you really have to take a look at this from that broad perspective. There is a need to be understood and to break free from habitual patterns. There's this need to be you. You kind of get more and more authentic as the time goes on. You've had a lot of work going on in Jupiter. Jupiter, right now is, deeply, deeply involved in the mutable T-square. And it's also involved in this grand Earth trine that we have going on when this energy push happens. And what happens is that Neptune kind of just makes you kind of hopeful. And even though it's in retrograde, it just makes you realistically hopeful. It makes you super creative about the way that you want to solve things. But it's all linked to something you're deeply passionate about changing in your life, deeply passionate about And it's something you've been thinking about. So this is forward energy. So if some of you have been having a plan or lots of energy has been festering in the same spot, move forward with that energy that's moving in that same spot, because you're going to find that this energy is absolutely blessed, especially if it has anything to do with solidifying your life, adding some consistency and longevity to your life, and really, really honestly, completely enriching your life. You're going to find that you are going to be compelled to, have these deep conversations about what's been on your mind. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hey dear Libras, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Mars goes direct in Scorpio. Your ruler is conjunct with the Sun in Cancer. It's conjunct with Mercury in Gemini. Lots of beautiful energy to be had for you. I think what's deeply intensifying in your life is this need to be valued, for you to pick a destined path that will add a lot of actually tangible assets to your life. Maybe what you're really looking for is to up the value in your life, like on every level. Like it needs to be, I need to live this certain way. I kind of have this standard in my life. I need to create some habits and some routines and some rituals that add a lot of hope. Like you're not settling in this energy. This energy has upped the bar for you. And what you're deeply passionate about at this time is creating an outcome for you that not only broadens your choices and creates opportunity in your life and elevates your perspective, but what you're deeply identifying with is the desire to make your future happen. Now, Uranus is in here and it's really stirring things up. And one of the things that I think is, speaking to me in your energy, relationships are intensifying. For the good or for the bad, something is intensifying in the relationship sector. And I think for you, there's this need, like in this energy, it's not about you following along. When the Venus goes into Cancer and it's conjunct with the Sun in Cancer, people have the wrong idea about Cancer energy. Cancer energy is very cardinal. So if there's enough emotional momentum, if there's enough fear, pain, unpleasant feelings, it's very cardinal. So you could be like, you have the voice, or somebody's trying to suppress who you are, or somebody's trying to change something, or somebody doesn't seem to accept like how authentic you're getting in this energy. And this energy is cardinal. And this energy has the stinger backed up in it. When you have Mars going into Scorpio and direct, you've been thinking about this. This has been on your mind. And this could be striking energy for some of you. For some of you, this is like, you strike my ego. You hurt me in any way that's so deep. I'm going to pull out my stinger because I've had the plan the whole time. Like, it's very intense energy for some of you in these really close bonds, unions. And when I say relationships to me are such a loose term for me, because I've had, companions that I considered relationships. So now we do have a glorious Earth trine right now going on, adding a lot of stability, add a lot of energy about, those talks about commitment and those talks about, like, how solid is my foundation with a person? How solid is my foundation, in my routines? How solid is it? Like, am I doing all the right things? Am I idealizing? I think that for you, there's such an ease and energy with the mutable T-square that's going on that I don't think that you have any problems. I think what you're starting to do is empower yourself, externally. Like if something doesn't make you feel good in your environment, well, you just have the elevated mindset to go make it good somewhere else. Like, but you're also interested in changing some powerful routines to get you the results you want. That's absolutely, on the agenda as well. This energy is all about ascension, all about getting you to move forward. It's all about taking your life to that very next level. It feels very, very powerful in this energy. Remember that this all has to do with what you're attaching value to. So if you're attaching value to pain and you're attaching value to somebody suppressing your voice, and then this is going to be a very intense energy for you, filled with a lot of emotional power struggles and a very fiercely competitive attitude in this energy. For some of you that are caught in a really high vibration, and what you're valuing most out of this transit is just this need to kind of firm things up and solidify your foundation and create some powerful outcomes and look at everything from the broad picture and really honestly focus on work or focus on your path, the direction that you're going in your life. You're going to find this is going to be a hella beautiful transit filled with lots of positive energy, lots of fierce energy to move forward with. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi, dear Scorpios. This is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Mars going direct. Yay! Your ruler in your energy. So, man, are you one fierce individual. This is filled with lots and lots of positivity. At the same time that we have Mars go direct, we have a glorious Earth trine, really emphasized by a fellow water energy, Neptune. So there's a lot of powerful energy pushing you away from old wounds, stagnant energy, energy that makes you feel suppressed and you're not deeply authentic. What you're deeply identifying with is this desire to take a risk, and matters of the heart are on the agenda. Matters when it comes to expressing yourself and being very creative and fun-loving in this energy. It's lots of fun energy. Lots and lots of fun to be had in this energy. A lot of fun to be had in conversations where you are deeply understood. Lots of power can be attained through conversations. Lots of recognition can be attained through conversations right now. Especially if you're looking at life on a very, very elevated level, people are just going to look at you as something that's very nurturing and stable and they can trust. And that is deeply important to kind of be valued at this time for you. The moon that's going to be in Taurus is making you super sensual. Woo! You're going to be on fire in this energy. You're going to be one sexy beast. And there's a lot of intensity. For you that aren't interested in sex, well, you're not going to be able to help it because you're just going to be fracking beautiful in this energy. You're going to be just, I feel like just the loins are going. Like this is just very spreading the seed kind of energy. I mean, super fun energy. Lots of great conversations. Social media is going to open up some neat conversations with you. Some possible interactions if you're looking for a little bit of new love, new spice, new little fun time. Now, for some of you that are, taking a look at things from the very elevated mindset, there's a lot of energy that's asking you to, identify your hopes, your dreams, and your wishes, and to create networks and to join, organizations that can get all this stuff going. So you're a great salesman in this energy, by the way, because you can have these plans that go on. You can see through people and energy. So this is a great time to mix and mingle and kind of stir things up to get some recognition for your contribution, your life path that you're trying to choose for yourself. Negative energy that could transpire from this, and it's very little. You're really caught in this like homebody type energy, and you really just want to stay stuck and regimented, and you're all but hurt. And God, are you going to miss one hell of a transit? Because wow, you can't. I wish I could just make you feel what I feel about this, because there is a lot of attraction. There's a lot of energy that could really give you some really long-term, consistent sources of energy to attach to, that I think have the possibility to build some amazing amazing networks and relationships on all levels. We're talking new relationships, we're talking established relationships, but deeply what we're talking about is just that social acceptance in this energy. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi Sagittarius, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Mars going direct in Scorpio. We also have a mutable T-square, which your ruler is involved in, and we also have a grand Earth trine, which your ruler is involved in at the time of the energy shift. We also have that grand Earth trine that's being uplifted by Neptune, which suggests to me that there is a lot of powerful energy, really kind of, putting the spice back in the home and family type mindset, or kind of you're really super hopeful about, moving in with people, or, redecorating a home, or kind of merging, kind of sharing. Whenever you have Scorpio energy, it's about shared resources, it's about intimacy. It's about, it's really about anything that you do where you form an intimate bond. A lot of trust goes into this type of energy. So it's stepping it up. So some of you, this is moving forward with issues that are regarding trust. This is that life path that you're trying to walk down, and there's a lot of powerful change coming up when it comes to the fact that there are matters of the heart that are being considered. There are, I really deeply feel like there's a deep intimate connection to this energy. Many of you have been having a lot of thoughts brewing for some time. This energy is going to make you have some very, very revealing thoughts. Like, it's almost as though you hadn't quite made the decision to kind of take everything to the next level. And this energy, I think you just do. I think the trying, the ease, the familiarity, the way that you passionately feel about the situation just ramps everything up to the next level. Now, this could be anything from really intimate bonds, sexual bonds. It could take your relationship from a sexual bond into the next level, as far as into like somebody that you might want to consider building a future with, somebody that you value highly, and somebody that you could see being your future. But for some of you, this has a lot to do with work. It has a lot to do with the path that you're choosing. It has a lot to do with what you're attracted to, what's intensifying in this energy. I mean, I think it's very clear to you. What's really interesting about this energy is, I think for some of you, you had like one specific mindset, and you thought that you were going to venture forward based on the past in a certain way. Many of you now know that that's not the way that you're going to do it. Like, energy just, it's not quite that simple. And I think it's just catching you off guard. I think for some of you caught in that mutable T-square, there is a resistance to this energy, only because I think that there is a little bit of fear associated with this. Like, when you get habitually caught in a pattern in your head, and you really thought it was going to go a certain way, and then something comes into your life quite unexpected, quite lovely, switches everything up. Energy, doesn't matter if it's something sort of creative aspiration, a job opportunity, or whatever, it ramps everything up, and your life all of a sudden goes in a completely different direction than you ever had anticipated to. And I think for some of you, that's what you're deeply visiting. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi, dear Capricorns, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Mars moving direct in Scorpio. Now, today we have your energy playing a very important role. Pluto is in Capricorn energy. I always think of Capricorn energy when I think of this. So I think what's going on with you, unfortunately, you're kind of caught in the stinger type energy, or the intense energy, or I feel that. Okay, so what this energy compels me to desire, or what I think it compels to desire, is some of your closest bonds, partnerships, and unions to deeply understand just how hard this spot is for you, right now. What's intensified in this energy? A lot of you have been having a lot of change, and you've been mutable in energy, and there's no foundation, strong, solid foundation. And it's just being compelled for you to think about creating structure, taking control. I mean, for some of you, this energy really, honestly, I don't think you're in a bad place. I think your mindset is in the right place. Your heart is anyway. It's very, very hopeful. But I think that you lack the compassion and the softness that it's necessary to deliver some of your ideas and to deliver some of these broad perspectives to people that might be closed-minded, might be suffering in some way that you don't understand. When you get a Sun in Cancer, what they desire is consistency and just safety. It's they're safe, and they get very hurt. When you have a Sun in Cancer, it gets hurt very easily. So if they think that, if somebody thinks that you're judging them and you're trying to give them all your wisdom and all your knowledge, and you're trying to have these really good conversations, and they're not receptive, they're not giving you the feedback that you desire, then I think you could be resentful and pissed off that, that this isn't fair for you. And I want you to elevate your mind. There's a lot of intense energy for you. Intense energy, I want to talk about some of the warning signs of what Mars and Scorpio transits can ignite. What it can ignite is just a very destructive nature in the way that you deliver your ideas, and the way it's almost like do it my way or do it the highway is kind of what I keep feeling. It's very aggressive, very violent, there's exchanges that are very low. They're low vibrations in exchanges, especially if it's regarding ideas and thoughts and really trying to get somebody to understand your perspective, see everything from your point of view. You really have to open your eyes. Here's what I'm thinking. So I'm trying to get people to understand that there are people right now that I know that are going through addiction, and I'm trying to get families to understand that you have to look through the eye of the person who's addicted. If you're sober, it's super hard to see through their eyes because we're looking through sober eyes. We don't have habitual mindsets. We don't have these vulnerabilities, and we don't understand completely where they're coming from. So, I spent a great deal of time picking up every single resource that I could on addictive tendencies, Al-Anon, codependency. I spent a great deal of time going to meetings. Like, I really needed to embrace what it was like to live the life of an addict, because I'm not one. And so it's very hard for me to understand their perspective. It freed me in such an elevated way I can't even tell you, because no longer what addicts did to me hurt me, because I looked through their eyes. I think when you're trying to deliver these communications, and I think when you're having these very, very these real conversations, and you're trying to make somebody face their reality, and you're in this Saturn square off with Neptune, and you're trying to get through to somebody who is playing the victim and wallowing in self-pity, and you're just cardinalness energy. I mean, you just want to kick some ass, and you want to solve all the problems, you want to make everything go away, and it's got to be your way. And this is very emotionally charged right now. I would say that this is just not a good time. That this is a time that could easily overly intensify anything that has to do with something that you're completely emotionally invested with. Check your emotions and pull back a little bit and reel yourself back, because I'm kind of worried that for some of you, there's going to be one hell of a quincunx episode in your life that is going to do some serious damage to those that you're trying to inevitably help, or vice versa. They're trying to help you. This is something to do with the Capricorn energy. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi guys, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner. Dear Aquarius, and this is your energetic reading for Mars moving direct in Scorpio, at the same time that we are having a mutable T-square, which your ruler is involved in. So I feel a lot of intensity in your energy. So let's talk about what this means to you. Now, I'm going to pick out the high form of vibration, and it's a teeny one. So that's how passionate I feel that you are about this. I feel like there's a lot of emotional intensity that is brewing beneath the surface that has been bubbling, and it's getting closer and closer and closer to the surface. And I think for some of you, it can't help but reveal itself in this energy. And this is an energy where you feel challenged, you feel like retaliating, you feel hurt, you feel personally afflicted by something in this energy, that you deeply need to be understood in this energy. You really honestly feel like you've been through enough. There are changes that need to be made. You're changing the direction, and you're changing the direction of pretty much anybody that you come in contact with. You are very fierce in this energy for some of you that are caught in a super low vibration. And it's going to be hard not to be caught in this vibration, because I'm going to be honest with you, Uranus in Aries is quincunxing Mars in Scorpio. So guys, super intense energy. This has the ability to, maybe you let the cat out of the bag about something, you reveal a secret. It's maybe through a conversation. It could be about somebody at work. Somebody says something about you, or you could have heard these conversations all along. You've been, calculating a retaliatory method, and this is the energy that makes you want to strike, whip out your stinger, and retaliate in the way that you've been planning all along. I think that this energy is very fierce. I think it has something to do with some sort of habitual mindset, some habitual sensitivity that's been going on for some time. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that you feel like you need to control it. You need to be heard. You need to you're in somebody's face about this stuff. Very rebellious energy, very spontaneous, fierce, volatile, angry, lots of emotional exchange, lots of emotional intensity, really adding some. And what I think it has to do with the fact is that there's so much energy brewing around stabilizing your foundation, and because right when this energy shifts, there's this beautiful grand earth trine that's being lifted up by this Neptunian mindset, which is squaring off with your ruler. So there's a reality check. And I think for some of you, if you really want to know what it is, you're their reality check. You are going to put them in their place. You are not going to take this stuff lying down. You need to be heard in this energy, and it is going to be a pretty fierce conversation. Flip side, one teeny tiny little bit of positive energy that I have found for you is that Mercury is in a gorgeous sextile with Uranus. So, new energy, exciting, fun. If you get yourself away from everybody and go kick ass and have a good time, shake it off. Don't be around the people that make you volatile or hostile. Guard your energy, and just really honestly look at the half full type of this energy, and the fact that everything may have crashed around you, but you can, I'm telling you right now, when I go through really tough things and all hell breaks loose in my life, you know me, you've been seeing me, I go on location. I had some tough stuff happen, and I just went on location, and it just completely attitude adjustment. I can deal. I came back and I could deal with everything because I spent the majority of my day soaking up earth energy and the sun. So I really believe that you have to do that for yourself in this energy. Guard what you're feeling. I know that it could be in a very intense work situation, or an intense conversation with a sibling about the path that you're choosing, or about the fact that you are still feeling very vulnerable and hurt and hypersensitive in situations people may have felt that you should have moved on from by now, or that you should have accepted by now and made different choices. So people are going to give their opinions about things that you don't have to listen. As far as some sort of authority, this could be a struggle at work where you're damn determined, you're fierce, you're competitive, and maybe somebody stabbed you in the back in this energy. That's super possible as well. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next Astrological event. Hi, dear Pisces, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Mars going direct in Scorpio at the same time that we have a mutable T-square. Now, your energy can go one of two ways because you're that gorgeous, dualistic, Neptunian mindset, and you have a lot of really, really positive energy, and you can be taken on a ride in a negative way, a reality check type of way. So identifying, I want you to always focus on half full energy. What you really need to do in this energy is you really need to take a look at what's hopeful, what is really pushing you in relationships. You know, where is the energy truly blessed, truly destined? Where do you feel the most accepted and the most authentic? And some of you are going to be making some very interesting decisions about firming up that foundation, firming up that, you know, like having conversations about trust, you know, having conversations over, you know, like for some of you, you could contact somebody that you've been thinking about in this energy for a really long time. And you're just very sensitive. There's a bond, there's a connection, there's sparks that fly in this energy for some of you because you've been thinking about the whole big future. You've been thinking about everything in this energy. And so there are people that have been brought forth in your mind for some of you that you really need to reestablish a connection with, because I believe that they have something to say, at least to help you identify something in your life. The negative energy in this is we're still caught in that reality check. So there's a lot of energy going in a lot of different directions. And one of the energies that I think are suffering is that just firm, solid, what am I doing with my life? Where am I going? What do I need? What is solid for me? What am I attaching to? What am I giving 110% to? I think for some of you, you're not doing that. And so that could be that whole reality check of like, firm it up. Like, come on, it's time to make decisions about the goals that you have. Like, you can't just be a sparkly little creature in this energy. Like, you really got to firm up what you want in this energy. And I think it's super essential because otherwise that's the only little bit of negativity. Otherwise, this is flying high energy. This is, you know, really stabilizing, adding commitment to your life, having wonderful conversations. This is about, for some of you, this is about a magnetic attraction in your mind, about an intense emotional bond that you had, like, in your mind at that very, very elevated level that shows you that there's something super destined, because this is a very mentally intimate connection for some of you in this energy. Lots of beautiful energy, lots of creative, fun energy. If some of you are really wanting to get creative, I suggest going out into nature, or I suggest getting your feet wet, because this is very, very beautiful, destined. Ease in energy makes this you just slide through this little Scorpio transit pretty unscathed in energy. Remember that you are learning a lot about you through relationships. So if there's some opposition, it's just a chance to find a way to meet in the middle and grow even more in this energy. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event.